So, ladies and gentlemen, this is TCtv1 USA. My name is Tony Shira, and I am coming to you from JCC in Kent. It is a day that we've just concluded a conversation with WAPIPAY, a company that operates in Kenya. But I don't want to tell you too much about what is going on. I want to take you to the people that are behind this. The event was also graced by the outgoing ambassador, Thomas Kwaka, and we're going to speak to him also shortly. So just join me. Let's hear what this is all about. And introduce yourself one more time for the people.
I'm NDICHU, co-founder and CEO of WAPIPAY.
Okay.
Paul NDICHU, co-founder of WAPIPAY.
Okay. What is WAPIPAY?
WAPIPAY is a global international payments institution. We facilitate movement of funds between Africa and the world and Africa.
Right.
Cross-border, international remittances, and Forex,
Right.
FX exchange.
Right.
And Wapi, as you know, means where in Swahili, and we put it to all Africans, including Kenyans. Where in the world do you pay?
What made you think of coming up to Washington in particular?
Deep history with Washington. We do have family members here. So Washington is pretty interesting for us. Of course, majority of Kenyans exist in Washington, or rather diasporas are in Washington. Washington is also a sanctuary state, forms it interesting for a lot of people or diasporas even from other parts of the world. And our services revolve around giving them services.
Right.
So it forms a very interesting proposition to come and be in Washington. We are also registered as an entity out of Delaware, and I guess it forms an interesting part of being in Seattle and being registered as a business here in Seattle.
When you decided to set up this event, you had an agenda. What was the agenda, and what do you feel you've achieved?
Well, the agenda is, firstly, we facilitate a lot of the remittances that happens for Kenyans sending money back home. But we've never introduced WAPIPAY as a brand in the US. So this is the first time we actually coming to the US, not just to introduce, but to better understand what are the challenges and what the lifestyles of Kenyans and the needs of Kenyans when they're doing all these transactions and all these digital remittances that we currently facilitate. What are the pain points, if there are any, that we can improve the quality of service, but also speak to our brothers and sisters, uncles and aunties, mothers and fathers who are working very hard out of the country, out of Kenya, but really doing a fundamental job in supporting the country by sending money back home. We wanted to get closer to these Kenyans, and they've been very welcoming and very receptive. And some of the discussions we've had, we've definitely understood them better. I think we're going back to help how we can improve the quality of service, and even more excitingly, I'm excited about the products that will be on our pipeline.
Right. I wanted to ask, what are the highlights of the outcomes from this?
Today, if you look at Seattle has 21,000 Kenyans, specifically who are diaspora. Today, we've met all the key institutions and the boards of the community constitutions that actually form the 21,000. Interesting statistics discussed, I think, with chairmans, ministry leaders, people like yourselves in the creative industry, and really get to have a conversation, because that's what we came to do, and try and understand, exactly all the services that they currently consume, which ones that they don't, why they consume them, and as Eddie said, what are their pain points? What else? How do we make this service of you interacting with Kenya, particularly with money, a much smoother and better experience?
Right. So are you looking at coming back here or going to any other states, or do you feel like you got everything that you really wanted?
I think this has been a signature, mother state to kick off from. Definitely looking at going further around the West Coast and going back into the East Coast. But just from this one session here in Washington, I think we've picked up a lot of learnings and lessons from the Kenyans who live out of here in Washington. So we will definitely be moving around through different states, but this will always be our launch pad to.
So call to action to if you were to speak to everybody that is out there, what would you like them to act on? What is the call to action? Let me start with you and then I'll come to you. Straight into that camera. What do you want people to do?
Support your home country. Support Kenya. There's a lot of Kenyans out there that you continuously continue to support, but go even beyond just supporting. What else can you do with the money that you work very hard for out of Kenya to support Kenya? Look out for WAPIPAY. M-Pesa is mobile money is very successful in Kenya. It is a signature for us as an innovation. We're looking at the next innovation. Kenyans in Kenya very easily send each other money. How can people in the diaspora very easily also send each other money?
Awesome. Yes, sir.
70% of the people we met today are business owners.
Right.
So mine is to businesses. Keep investing in your businesses, invest in Kenya, and for the individuals themselves, invest in Kenya. I think for us, understanding businesses and how businesses move and remit money, that are diaspora businesses, has been an interesting conversation. So invest in yourselves, invest in your businesses, invest in Kenya.
Before I let you go, there was a question that came up about the third generation Kenyans. I won't let you go before you say something about that, and then probably wrap it up.
Third generation, that was a very hot topic in this discussion. A lot of the people in the first and second generation had ties back home, and that's why they send money back home. But that's now quickly dying out, actually. And there's a third generation that doesn't need to send money back home. So how do we continue to capture the interest of this third generation who are now becoming globalized, and they can literally still ties to Kenya, but can live and work and for the rest of their lives anywhere in the world, not just in the US? How do we get and make sure that they still have a tie to back home? I think it's looking at them as a community in itself and not at a community connecting back to Kenya. And then what are the things that we can do with this community that is out of Kenya to help them remain as a community and not necessarily drag them back and give them push them hard to try and give them reasons to send money back home. I think home for them is where they are. Home for them is not where they're from.
Absolutely. Last word, sir?
Yeah, very excited to have our first conversation here. It's not our last. We'll be back again and again and again and again. Right. Even as we visit other states, we're very excited, especially for us as a regulated entity out of Kenya by the Central Bank of Kenya. This has been a very exciting discussion that we're going to take back to Nairobi.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. The twins, I must have said. All right, I'm going to be speaking to the ambassador, Thomas Kwaka, before I leave the scene and just get his word on what has transpired and how he feels. I'm with the outgoing ambassador, Thomas Kwaka, Big Ted, as you can see, very big. And I want to know, he was one of the facilitators of this meeting today, and I want to know if it achieved what he targeted.
Yes, I think it achieved exactly what we came here for. We came here for feedback, we came for interaction, and we came just to have our pulse on what the Kenyans and the Kenyans here are feeling about not only their products, but also anything else to do with Kenya. So we're happy about everything, being able to be hosted in a Kenyan church, finding this Kenyan food, and then the Kenyan spirit of being here. You can see hours later, people are still here, still talking, and it simply shows that there's a need and there's a gap which needs to be filled. So we're happy as the Kenyan consulate that we're able to come here and interact with people.
Right. And just to ask you, is this, I know you're counting time before you leave. Do you have any other of these kinds of events that are scheduled?
Yes, I think as a country, this is one of the things that, and also I speak for the State Department of Diaspora, it's something that PS has been talking about a lot, being able to go out to where the Kenyans are and to be able to just put your hand on the pulse and understand the issues. Because you see, you can be in Kenya making a decision, but the decision is being felt here, or the impact. Number two, it's about participation. Everybody who was here today feels part and parcel of the process. So anything which comes out of this, these guys own it. And I'm sure their families and their families will own it too.
Right. Giving you an opportunity to speak to the Kenyans, because maybe we might not have this this kind of an opportunity, what would you say to the Kenyans regarding the time that you've been here and what you would like to see of them moving forward?
Well, it's been an amazing, amazing, amazing time. I want to salute and thank each and everybody who has made my tour of duty great. It's been a great experience. I have also learned a lot and grown a lot. I have also been able to dump a lot of perceptions and perspectives that I had about the diaspora. Living here for 2 years has sharpened me to be a better person, a better diplomat, and a better public servant for and with the people.
Right. Closing remarks?
Well, it's never yours, it's just your turn, so just use it and use it well.
I like that. It's never yours, it's just your turn. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, TCtv1 USA, the Tony Shira Show. Let's see you in the next event. Peace.
Jumbo, my name is Eddie from WAPIPAY, and we put it to you, where in the world do you pay? This is TCtv1 US.
TCtv1 USA.